Hey y'all, welcome back. Y'all know it's the pre-show before the main show, 2 minutes of tea. Okay, so this year we've been shouting out Black businesses all year, and a special business I wanted to shout out is B Condoms. They're actually a condom brand based right here in Atlanta. You can get them at CVS, you can get them at Walgreens. You used to be able to get them at that place that we're no longer talking about, with the red Target. But yeah, they're a great condom brand, Black owned. You can check them out at B Condoms. You can go to their website, getbbrand.com. Perfect for those intimate nights with you and your loved one, maybe even a sneaky link. But yeah, they're always dropping really cool, great, informative sexual health facts, ways you can improve your intimate performance. Really, really fun and creative brand, and we're going to support them this year. Okay, so make sure you check them out. Be Condoms. All right, and enjoy the show. Bye.
It's tea time with Uncle 12. Let me go grab my cup.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tea Time with Uncle Twirl, where what's in your mug is your business. I'm your host, Uncle Twirl. Guys, we have such a special guest sipping and spilling with us today. Direct her, storytell her, create her. Okay, the one and only Shayla Racquel is in the building. Y'all better give it to her. Yes. First of all, why are you so pretty? Like, what's it's eating?
Thank you for at least saying that, because when the hustle and bustle to get here, I was feeling. You ever seen Color Purple?
Yes.
She was like, I'm black, I may be ugly. I was like, I'm gonna get there. I might be ugly, but I'm here.
But I'm here.
I'm here.
I made it. No, you're eating. You look amazing. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Good. The pollen didn't get you too bad. The rain.
Let me tell you about this pollen.
It's
you know what I'm saying? It's been throwing hands, but I've been throwing hands harder. You got to get allergy shots. It might have had one the first couple rounds, but it's not winning the war for me right now.
Period. Literally, before you got here, we were talking to y'all know Nadia. She behind the camera. We were talking, and she was like, "I had to get some allergy prescription pills. It's that bad. Like, even if you've never had allergy before, it's tearing people up."
No, did you see there was a tweet that said the pollen is like seasoning us like chicken? Like,
no,
I'm so serious.
But that's factual. So if you're not here now, stay away from Georgia until the end of May. It's pretty terrible. Okay, so before we get into your business, I figure we play a few games, loosen things up.
Okay.
You guys are familiar. The first game we're going to play is called Super Spill. It's a rapid fire question. I'm going to give you a this or that. You're going to choose your preference, and if you don't want to choose, you're going to take a sip. Because we believe in consent, honey. We don't force somebody to do nothing they don't want to do, okay? Period. Okay, first up, lemon pepper wet or dry?
Lemon pepper wet.
Period, because everything's better wet.
Yeah.
Seafood or Mexican food? Oh my.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Seafood or Mexican food?
Seafood or Mexican food? If I knew that was what you was, okay. Seafood. It'll be the cockroaches of the sea. So
period. Under the sea. Seafood. Yeah. I love it. Same. Like, if it can swim, I'll eat it. Mermaid.
Yeah.
Shark. I mean, look, if a nigga in the water too long, I don't. Okay. Bring It On or Remember the Titans?
Bring It On or Remember the Titans? It depends on what mood I'm in. And I mean, I'm usually in a happier mood, so I'm going to say Bring It On.
Period. Sunflowers or roses?
Sunflowers or roses? I like them together. Like, I like them. Like, that's my favorite type of like bouquet together. Where you did a deep dive?
I mean, we do a little research. We do a little. We're trying to study our subjects.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with sunflowers.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, especially when they're in season. Tim's or Kendrick?
Tim's or Kendrick?
Yes.
You can't compare like this.
I mean,
that's another mood question. Like, what mood are you in? I'm a sip.
Period.
Because I don't feel I can't.
We'll be going to see Kendrick next week. I can't wait. He'll be here on Tuesday. I'm trying to get my game paraphernalia together right now. So I'm prepared.
What color are you doing?
I think I'm gonna do. I don't want to. I'll tell you after the show. I don't want to get canceled early. Canon or Nikon?
Canon or Nikon? That's another hard one, because Nikon has like the better glass, but Canon has the better. But like now I've been in a place where I don't even touch the cameras for real anymore. So it's like whatever camera the DP
Whatever they want.
want.
Whatever you like.
But I will say I was a Canon girl.
Right.
So I started, my first web series was done with Canon cameras. And, you know, Canon, even back in the day, it was like T3Is. Like, Canon gave us the blueprint to start making our own stuff. So I'm going to go with Canon.
Period. Shout out to Canon.
I had to do that process of elimination.
Loyal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Spike Lee or Issa Rae?
Spike Lee.
Pixar or DreamWorks?
Pixar or DreamWorks?
Yes. Who? Which one?
Let's break that down. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about,
okay.
Because first of all, I be getting them confused.
Same.
Toy Story is Pixar, right?
Yes.
Okay, DreamWorks is
The Croods.
And give me another DreamWorks.
Abominable. The Wild Robots.
Okay, I'm
yes.
feeling like it's. I'm gonna just go out. I'm gonna say Pixar. Let me tell you why. Because of the lamp. And that's what I'm gonna choose.
Period.
The lamp that just turned.
Okay, yeah, we're fans. Yeah, yeah. And
I'm gonna go for that. I'm gonna go with Pixar.
And it's funny because
but that's a hard one.
It's hard, right? Like because I typically get confused too. And some of the movies that I think
there's a like a T behind that. I don't want to misspeak, but like the owners used to be like, and then they separated and they hate each other.
Yeah,
and
they are rivals.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's
big beef. Big beef. Crips and Bloods. Okay. Mm-hmm. FAMU or Bethune-Cookman University?
It's FAMU.
All day.
All day.
Period.
All day. Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University.
Hello.
October 3rd, 1887. What?
The one and only. Okay, last one. South Carolina or Florida?
South Carolina.
All day.
All day.
Period.
All day. Home is where the heart is. Like Florida got a piece. Mm-hmm. Florida is.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in there. It's in there. But South Carolina is home.
All day.
All day.
Look, you slid through that very good.
Thank you.
You didn't sip too many times.
Let me tell you something. As a director, you got to be decisive.
Yes, facts.
Like you can't have the moment anybody feel like you don't know what you want.
They're like, what's happening?
Exactly. So, but because I had just seen Sinners and I was so enamored by this character. So I think her name is Jamie.
Yes.
Yes. I could see her as a Dorothy.
So talented.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was wonderful.
Well, since you brought it up, before we move any further, Sinners.
Ooh.
I've seen it 3 times.
I've seen it twice.
3 times. The significance of the moment that Sinners is having in Hollywood for directors.
Makes me want to cry.
You know what I'm saying? Like to know the deal that Ryan Coogler was able to get once in a lifetime. Even seeing how some of like the critics were kind of shading him initially. And then what did we do? We showed up.
Racially motivated.
It was clearly.
Let's put it all on the table.
Yeah.
It's all racially motivated.
When Ben Stiller got to call you out, he's like, "What is that?" Like no one talks like that. Can you talk a little bit about like seeing the movie, the impact it had on you, how it made you feel, etc.?
Oh, seeing Sinners. So I saw it twice. The first time I saw it was in 40X, and I took my boyfriend, who he's a creative in his own right, but he's in music, right? So seeing him light up on that,
right.
Because he's also a type of person who can he taught himself how to play the piano, like he could just teach himself instruments. So that was one thing, and then I saw it again with like all my filmmaker friends in IMAX, just this past Wednesday, and both times and I think it did this for every creative. Every creative who went to see this film, it just created a fire within them. Yes. It let us know what is possible and how far we truly can go and even surpass that. Like, I feel, I feel like it just opens so many doors, but then I feel like the part that is missing in the conversation is the collaboration and how he's been working with these people.
Yes.
Ludwig, he's been working with him since college.
Right.
Like he's been working with these same collaborators, and he really did the Issa Rae moment of like building horizontally and working your way up. And I think that yes, it's this fire in us, like yes, we need to get our stuff together, But this has nothing to do with white approval.
Right.
We still feel fired up because now it's like, okay, I got my script. I'm ready. You got the producer side.
Yes.
Let's work together and let's build this up. And then we can just continue to create on our own. And they're going to see us because they are paying attention.
Yes.
Right? But we're not doing it for them to see us. We're doing it for ourselves because we need to get the art out. And I think that is what Sinners meant to me. And it affirmed me in a way where I was like, I have a similar trajectory to Ryan Coogler as far as like I went to film school. My thesis project was also dealing with like Black Lives Matter. His was Oscar Grant. Mine was more so around like the Michael Brown situation, but I kind of reversed it a bit. Like having success in that and just finding collaborators and just been working ever since. And though I'm working towards his caliber, it just let me know that my stories are meant to be told, especially as like I'm from the Deep South. Like I'm from South Carolina. That is one of the things that I want to put a microscope on, is like the stories that the Deep South have and how expansive that is. And I feel like that just opened up a world like, yes, my stories do matter as a Deep South Black Southern girl.
And they translate to the big screen.
It do.
Because a lot of it,
and people are interested.
They're interested because they're trying to make it seem like it's not profitable, like it won't make money. No one wants to, because this is an original like movie. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of
I've heard it. I've heard it in these meetings where people have told me like stories I've written, and like executives be like, "Oh, this is too niche, or it doesn't have an audience." But then I go off and do a piece of it, and it's selling out 400-seat theaters.
Talk about it.
So like I to see that. No, it's just like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. So I'm gonna just keep going. And I'm proving I have an audience behind it, just like Ryan Coogler has proven. He's what someone called an event filmmaker. People's gonna come out because his name is on it, and we're going to support it, and we're going to see the deeper meaning behind it, and it's going to charge us up, and I love that.
Period. Full stop.
Sorry.
No, because I feel very similarly. I think so many times they tell you like, this is not valuable. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to hear this. This is to that. And there is so much proof that like says the opposite. And so if you are someone who has a story to tell, if you are someone who that resonated with, tell your story. Don't let these people like tear you down or make it seem like it's not possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just do so within your resources. I feel like people get so caught up in like, oh, I don't have IMAX film cameras, or I don't have this, that, and the third. And it's just like, well, what do you do have? Do it with what you have. And what I'm telling you is when you do it with what you have, the next time you do something, you're going to get a little bit more. Then you do it again, and you're gonna get a little bit more. Next thing you know, you shooting digital series that's fully funded, or shooting movies. Like, but you have to get past that first initial step of like getting out of that feeling of lack.
Yes. And I love what you said about collaboration, because a lot of people think you need a certain level of like celebrity or access or power to create or build. No, you can build within your own communities. It's powerful. It is a powerful tool. And so, yeah.
And the beautiful thing about it, building with your own community, is the reach back. Because you build with your community is going to reach up and reach back. It's going to get to other levels and reach back. People talk about all the time, it's like, be careful how you talk to people, because the PA is going to be and when I tell you, that's literally everything. Like, I know people who started off as PAs who are now executives who I've kept in touch with since they were PAs. We've been friends since PAs, and now that they're executives, they're walking my stuff in. Like, that is how this goes. You build these relationships. It's a relationship based. Being a creative, it's a relationship based experience.
That is the currency.
Yeah,
the facts.
It is.
Facts. Okay, look. Sorry, guys. But no, look. When you brought it up, I was like, oh, because I saw you posting about it, and I was like, I can't wait to talk to her about it because I know the impact that it's had.
And it go deeper, like dark skin representation, full figure representation. Like it just goes so much deeper that we can talk all day.
Yeah, it was super layered, super contextual, super just bravo, Ryan. Okay, last game we're gonna play is Would You Rather, the created edition. So I'm basically gonna give you two different options of Would You Rather. You're gonna say which one you'd rather do. Let's see. Would you rather direct your dream feature film but have zero social media, or go viral every month with short films only?
My dream film with no social. Honestly, that's the dream.
Right.
To do that's literally Ryan Coogler. He don't got no social media. And let me tell you, he is living the blissful life with his wife and his children.
Out the way.
And he can't see nothing, none of the stupid stuff that's been.
He's like, I actually don't know what you're saying.
We was taking care of his life for him. When Variety tried to play him, we handled that.
And
he ain't got to know nothing about that.
We drugged them so bad. The next one they were like, the 5 reasons Ryan Coogler is so successful. I said, get it together.
Yeah. No. It would be to direct I don't do it, like I said, I don't do this for social media. And I do this for someone to be touched. And if it's one person, cool. If that one person is me, cool. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't need the social media
I love that. Period. Okay. Would you rather shoot a film in the jungle of Costa Rica or the desert of Joshua Tree?
The jungle of Costa Rica or the desert of Joshua Tree?
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna end up shooting something in the desert of Joshua Tree anyways.
Right.
Like, because like that's where everybody go to like
Yeah.
to write and to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to take. So I feel like that's gonna happen. I would choose Costa Rica because this is
Right.
a little adventure.
Why
And
not?
also, Costa Rica has an amazing film program, like
didn't
with
know
lots
that.
of like tax incentives, and they've been like trying to really like branch into like America and having America bring some of their stories there, which is taboo topic, so we can go to other. But yes,
Right.
it would be
No,
Costa
very, very
Rica.
cool. Look, Costa Rica is beautiful. I just need someone with a gun to protect me
Yeah.
from, rah. Would you rather win an Oscar or create a cult classic loved by generations?
Easily a cult classic loved by generations.
Period.
What was the Oscar Best Picture winner of like 2000?
That's a good question. Girl,
Yeah. You know the ones I do remember? The ones that like are cult classics that have like
Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Yeah, hello. No,
Moonlight.
period.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
I
saying?
can't tell
Like,
you. Yeah.
American Fiction.
Yes.
Like I want something that resonates. And the reason why it gives me goosebumps to talk about like having a film that's a cult classic is because I feel like I truly feel like I have that. Like I have the script and I'm working on that. And I'm just, I'm close to that. Something that the deep south can feel represented by, but like everyone can love and see themselves in. But it's meant for my young Black girls,
period.
My teenage Black girls who haven't really seen much representation lately. So,
and I think it's all like, Oscar's great. If that's a goal of yours, amazing. You work hard, but a lot of those spaces we know we're not celebrated, right? We know like, even though sometimes people win those Oscars, it doesn't always impact your career or mean that like you're on all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's a whole like thing called like the Oscar curse, where it's like you win an Oscar, you don't get booked for anything. And yeah, like I don't need. Is it nice, beautiful? But I personally don't need that type of validation. Like I said, my validation comes more so for myself, my God, my family. And if I feel like it's important, cool. But if it touches like my community, I did my job.
Amen. Because it's just like perfect example. Color Purple, wasn't even nominated. I mean, amazing, like classic. You know what I'm saying? Or like one of your favorite, I know definitely one of mine. And so it doesn't always equate.
No.
And y'all need to do better. I just saw recently an article. They were like,
they
the
go
Academy.
Now actually
you have to. I said they haven't been watching them. You haven't been watching the film.
That shock you. Like,
I was gagged when I read that. I said that hasn't been a requirement. So y'all don't even know what you're talking about.
And then like, so me and my friends, we break down those things, like how you campaign to win an Oscar, how people spend a part of their marketing budget to campaign to win. So it's not on. It's we talk about meritocracy and all that stuff, but it's none of that. It's like who campaigned hard enough to get the visibility to know, okay, well, I might not have seen it, but they sent me a cute little box and a DVD and I feel like an influencer, honey. So I'm going to just go ahead and mark yes for them. That,
Right. It takes away from like the real artistry of like, no, we put together something we believed in and you didn't even give it the time of day.
Exactly. So.
Noted. Get it together. Would you rather have Beyonce star in a film or Ava DuVernay produce it?
Would I rather have Beyonce star in a film?
Yes.
Or, this is such a messy question. Would I rather have Beyonce star in a film?
Yeah. She's a star of your film.
Or Ava DuVernay produce it?
Yes.
Cut the cameras. It was a cut the cameras.
How dare you? How dare you?
There's so many layers that go into this question. Like, and the things that go in my brain is like, what is the subject matter of the film? That would let me know whether I want Ava DuVernay to produce it. What is the subject matter of the film? That would let me know if I want Beyonce to act in it. Like, she killed Dreamgirls.
8. Cadillac Records is also 8.
Yeah.
People don't talk about that enough.
No, they didn't.
She
but baby gave it.
I'd rather go blind. I was sobbing in the theater. I was sobbing.
I think you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Beyonce.
Period. And no shade. Y'all say what y'all want. if the role is a singer, if it has anything to do, she's going to eat
Period.
it.
Period.
She's going
And
to eat it up.
it is a dream of mine to do a
Yes.
musical.
She's gonna eat
Like
it.
it is a huge dream of mine to do a musical. So Beyonce called me too.
Period.
No.
Quickly. We love you, Ava. I
Do
saw
love
Origin.
you, Ava.
Origin, you
Do
killed
love
Origin.
you.
Loved it. Would you rather tell your own life story on the screen or your grandmother's?
My grandmother's. My grandmother's. My grandmother has lived such a full life. Both of my grandmothers and my great grandmothers, the women in my family have lived such full lives. All of them are deep South Carolina, never left. The things that they've seen, the stories that they've told me. Like for instance, my grandmother, who is still living today, she would go to the church and teach the elders how to read and write so that they could go and try to vote in Jim Crow, South Carolina.
Right.
You know the danger of that?
No,
Like, do you know? So knowing that, right? And then my other grandmother who had passed when I was in my 20s, she was a sharecropper. Like, and she used to clean the homes. Like they were so full of stories, and I just used to love listening to them, almost to the point where I wish, especially like my grandmother who passed, I even spent even more time taking in those stories. I feel like those things I would love to like, but, and let me add a caveat of that, because, you know, people start talking about like trauma and things of that sort. What we don't see on the screen, or when we do, they cancel it, is the joy of those times.
Talk about it.
And that's something my grandmother used to tell me all the time. She was like, you know, I go to the movies and we watch these films, and it's always about like the hardships.
Yes.
And yes, you know, there was a lot. We marched, like we did this, da-da-da-da, but we found joy and community.
Because that's what Black people do.
And she's like, and I would love to see that type of stuff on the screen. She was like, I remember when they bought their first radio, and her and her brothers would dance around the radio, and what that meant to her at that time. I want to see that. The Wonder Years did a great job of that.
Balancing
like, you know what I'm saying? Like being in, it was depicted of like the 60s, being in that era, but keeping it about like, this is just a family slice of life story. And you get to see the coming of age of a little boy and all that comes with just being a little Black boy. And that just so happened to be in the 60s.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? I would love to explore that. I'm going to explore that.
Hello.
I think especially my, I was talking about my grandmother, but even my grandfather, like his story, their love stories, like it's my grandfather used to own juke joints, y'all, around
Come on, sinners.
He was a little pimp. Chilly little shy. little, but I want to explore all of those things.
No, I love that. I definitely think we got it. Heartache, Black trauma, we know. Slavery, okay, we know. But one thing, even in these times when things are dire, Black people, one thing we're gonna laugh. Where them fans at? We're gonna find joy.
Honey,
it's in our nature.
We in the middle of a hostile government
we
takeover,
are.
and we like,
where them fans? Because baby, you're not gonna tear us down. You're just not. It's not
you
who we are.
You won't break my soul.
Hello, and you won't. Okay. Would you rather wear heels on set every day?
Oh, hell nah. I don't care. Shit. What's the next part?
I don't even care what the order is. Or never get to dress up for a premiere.
Ah, hell no. What? Me not dressed up for a premiere, honey?
Are you wearing the heels every day? Or are you never dressing up for the premiere?
Maybe they kitten heels.
Because you can find a sensible wedge.
Maybe I can figure out. I could put on the sneaker heels.
Okay, a little meow.
A little sneaker heel. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the heels.
See? Yeah.
Because not dressing up on a premiere. Honey, I don't know if you ever see my looks, but I be hitting the red carpet.
Look, you be wearing pretty little things out. I'm like, baby, and another one.
Just a little one.
And another one.
Okay, wait till Law can dress me, honey. We gonna have, I'm skinny. I'm gonna find the next Law. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, because they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you rather shoot an entire movie on an iPhone or edit with no Wi-Fi for a month?
Edit with no Wi-Fi for a month, or shoot with an iPhone? Like forever, or for just this one project?
Just that one project.
I'd rather shoot on an iPhone or edit with no Wi-Fi. I mean, you can edit with no Wi-Fi, because you don't really need Wi-Fi to edit. You need the program to edit. And most times, like especially me and my well then you won't be able to get some like sources. Like say for instance, we want some. I don't know. That's a hard one. Can I take a sip?
Yep, you sure can.
Okay, thank you. I don't know.
She said, next.
Because
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with like shooting with an
No, it's
iPhone
not.
at all, but also there's nothing wrong with editing without Wi-Fi.
Look, you
So it's
listen to
like
Apple
you're
Films.
leaving creativity on the table for both.
Right.
So I took myself.
Look, because according to Apple Films, they said we shot all this whole movie on an iPhone.
Meanwhile, they got a
I'm like, you're
techno crane
lying.
with a lens
Right. I
attached.
said that.
Baby, the only thing on the iPhone they used was the memory.
It's in the cloud. Okay. Would you rather create one perfect film or a lifetime of good ones?
A lifetime of good ones. There is no. I see myself as an auteur filmmaker, and as an auteur, we're constantly telling the same story, like, and we're trying to make it better with each one. Like we're constantly. That's the thing of an auteur. Like look at Scorsese. You know what? Look at Quentin Tarantino. Look at Ryan Coogler.
Yes.
Like they're auteur filmmakers, and I strive to be considered as. I consider myself as an auteur filmmaker, but I strive to also be considered from audiences as an auteur filmmaker. And with an auteur filmmaker, we're making good and bad is subjective. Like you're not going to please everyone. You're not going to always please yourself. So I would rather make good films that I poured my heart and soul into, and I'm constantly trying to refine my voice with each one, than for me to make a one and done perfect film that is still going to be somebody out there who paid.
Right. Because trying to chase perfection, you'll never get there. It's just because the moment you feel like I got here, you'll find a new thing to like critique or strive for. I feel that. Once again, you ate that game up, honey. Would you rather slid through one step? Okay. So now it's time for us to spill some tea, honey. We're gonna do an interview. So I know you were born and raised in South Carolina.
I
am. Can you tell me one of your favorite childhood memories and the last movie that made you cry?
So one of my favorite childhood memories was that I was in an opera company in elementary school, and with that opera company, and also this kind of goes into like the story of like the bloom in me. So in this opera company, we were 19 years old, but we had to write, direct, and produce a play. A stage play. And so they set it up like a real writer's room. So like we had to pitch ideas, and then after we pitched ideas, we had to write the music, we had to write the song, we had to help create the set design, and we're 19 years old. And it's funny, I'm thinking back at the time, I don't think I didn't see it as like, now I'm like, God, you were 19 years old doing that. But then it was like, we were like, yes, we're doing it. And we're adults. And we're going to do this. And so we did. And I remember I pitched the idea of making it about like health, because I have sickle cell disease. And like I pitched that idea and making it like we can do songs about like the cells and all that good stuff. And I think I made it more specifically about sickle cell, but they were like, okay, well, let's expand this to make it about health. And we did, and we wrote songs, and we had costumes, and we created little blood cells and little veins, and we performed this in front of everyone. And then they had like raised a bunch of money for us to take, mind you, I'm South Carolina born and raised, and we're District 1. So these school systems are poor. Raised a bunch of money to take us to New York. Incredible. And then took us to New York, and I got a chance to perform on the Apollo stage.
Whoa.
And all of that, without that memory, I don't think I would be who I am.
It really informed like the roots of your storytelling.
Like being able as a 10-year-old country girl to go to New York City and see the big city, and then like be on a stage and like rub the trunk and all that good stuff. It expanded my world past my view. And I was like, oh man, the world is just so big. And I've wanted to just, story-wise, I just wanted to just know and view and experience because of that.
And that's such a beautiful memory. I tell people all the time, like, you're only as big as your world, right? Your opportunities are only as large as like what you know. And so like, if you're someone that doesn't travel, has never left the same community you're in, has never experienced anything new, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because you don't know what else could spark something in you to set you on a new trajectory.
And that's why I thank my family, because even though like my family, all of them, it's like it used to be a dirt road, but they paved it, and all is like my grandma house, my aunt house, my uncle house, like we all right there. they were very big on like us seeing the world. So we would all hop in like vans. It'd be like 20 of us because it's a lot of us, and we would just drive to like different places like
Right.
Tennessee and da, da, da,
Right.
New York, blah blah blah,
Right.
and
Road trip me.
yeah, and
Yes.
it like the fact that they found ways to make that happen for us. That was so pure, and I think it just did something to all of the like grandchildren, because none of us are for now we you know, if we gotta go back home, we gotta go back home. If we need to like, you know, lick our wounds and get ourselves back together, but all of us have like just moved and expanded and just are living our lives, full lives, and just know that the world has so much more to offer than that little dirt road we grew up on.
And I think that's what it's about, paying it forward. Like people always say, like, you know, what are you doing for the next generation? Or these are my wishes and hopes. But like doing the actual work, it doesn't mean that you need to have like all the bells and whistles or all the money in the world. There are ways to impact people in your community, in your family, by doing small things, just broadening their horizons little by little.
Absolutely.
And so I love that. That's super special. I want to talk about some of your first projects. What inspired some of your initial projects, like Life's Checklists and Quarter Century? And what is something you learned from them?
You know, I'm in such a better place now because that question would, like, maybe 5 to 6 years ago would have put me in tears. So Quarter Century and Life's Checklist were both like inspired by the life I was living. Quarter Century came before Life's Checklist. Quarter Century was a project born out of fear of where I was in life, feeling like I was inadequate and wanting to express that. And so I had just graduated from FAMU. I was working for the federal government. Mind you, I have loved the arts and loved film and knew I wanted to work somewhere in that. And I was working IT help desk support. And I hated it. I hated everything about it. And so I wanted to just do research about like how do I get into the film industry? Like how do I start doing what I love? And the research was like, well, you can go to film school, but in order to get into film school, you have to have done a film project. And so at the time, I think I was 23 years old, and I was like, man, and the pressure of, it's so funny now in my 30s talking about this, because girl, what? Shut up. But you were so dramatic.
But what you feel is real in the moment.
But in the moment, you couldn't tell me.
Real.
And I was so scared about what 25 looked like. And so I wanted to make a web series about it. Like, what is it for that weird period of 22 through 24 where you're an adult, but you still feel like a child, but now you got bills and you don't have the comfort, because college there's a huge comfort. There's
it's a bubble.
It's a bubble of safety, and then now you're just like thrown into the world. You used to be able to walk down the street and be at your homie house and then walk over there to the cab and have food. Now, baby, you in the world, honey.
Good luck.
Your friend over there in Cali while you in DC, and do you got $5 back then? Chipotle bar? No, you don't. So like it was just different, and I was experiencing that. I was experiencing working a job I didn't like. I was experiencing feeling like I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I wanted to express that. And I wanted to showcase that limbo stage. And so that's where Quarter Century was born from. And then also I was inspired by Issa Rae. Like Quarter Century came out right after Awkward Black Girl came out. And so I think Awkward Black Girl was like 2011, 2012. And I started working on Quarter Century 2012 and 2013. And it really it was just literally the testament of, we didn't have nothing. It was me and 2 friends who had wanted nothing to do with film at the time, and a boyfriend at the time. And we were like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to make it happen. And the resources, because we were like, hey, we're going to do this, the resources just pour in. I can remember, man, I get excited about this, but I can remember like I had bought like 2 cameras, Canon T3Is. We talked about that. I made a boom pole out of what my Uncle Joe did. Made a boom pole out of an old broomstick and a PVC pipe, and we just hooked the mic into that, and that was our boom pole. And like sliders out of PVC pipes, like $2 PVC pipes, and that was like our equipment. And we shot from volunteer. I couldn't pay nobody
Right,
because I
right.
was working IT help desk support. So whoever came is because they just truly believed in the project. And I can remember like shooting the episode, and then now all of my friends from FAMU finding out about this project and then coming down to the house party. And now we got this huge house party of like 30, 40 people because they just saw and wanted supportive resources. And then like people like, hey, I see what you're doing. Let me provide the pizza for you this time. I see what you're doing. Let me provide the shirts and the clothes for you this time. And it literally was just that, making that series. And so I used to have a hard time talking about that series for other reasons, but now I feel like it's home. It's my base. And Life's Checklist actually was the first short film I did while in film school. So Quarter Century got me into film school, and then Life's Checklist, and then the Life's Checklist. The what's funny about it is I look at it so differently now, because I did that in 2015, so it's been 10 years.
Right.
I look at it so differently now. So I wanted to challenge, at the time, I wanted to challenge the reasons why people were getting married, because I felt like millennials, from what I was viewing, which is funny because I don't feel like that now, but I felt like we were like in a rush to like, we got to do it, like life was a checklist. And I wanted to explore, I wanted to explore that, and I'll tell you a little bit. I'll tell you the tea behind it when the camera's back. But I wanted to explore that dynamic and challenge that notion of feeling like life is just things to just knock off.
Right.
And that was what that was. And this is really just me. And I tend to do that with every one of my project. I take something that truly happened to me, and then I just create a whole world around it that is completely fictional.
Right.
And explore the subtleties and the concepts around it. And that was Quarter Century, and that was Life's Checklist.
And it's funny because it kind of reminds me of there's a trend happening right now. It's like the Plan A and then Plan B trend. And it's like Plan A, be married by this time. To the Plan B, I'm the cool auntie. I'm the rich uncle. I'm the, this and that. Because life is something to be experienced. Like it's not something you can just like pre-package and pre-plan or pre-predict. That's not how it works. And I feel like you will miss so much of it thinking, well, this is how it's supposed to be, or this is where I should be. You're missing the beauty of like the now.
What's funny is I'm literally in the midst of, I finished writing it, and now I'm going to go into development for it. But an updated version of Life's Checklist. That's a feature film, but it's focused on my girlies in their mid to late 30s.
Okay.
Where it's similar, because now we're feeling even more of the pressure, right? It's you got a biological clock, and you ain't married, you ain't got kids, and it's a whole nother feeling from 2015 when I was like 25, trying to like this. Now it's a whole deeper feeling, and I want to explore that and with the lens I have now, where it's like I don't have those boundaries on myself anymore. I'm not those limitations actually.
Yes.
I'm not even thinking about those things anymore. So I'm now exploring it from that lens, but it's basically an updated version of that. And I feel like that's what makes me an auteur.
Period, honey. Okay. So your work often focuses on complex female characters. What motivates this focus, and how do you develop these characters?
Yeah. What motivates this focus of having, it's not even just it's chaotic. I love chaotic female characters. And it's because I'm a chaotic female character. If you couldn't tell, like I am chaos. I love the chaos. I am a Leo.
Okay.
Scorpio rising.
Hello.
Taurus moon. So I am chaotic and I'm fixed.
Yes.
Very fixed in that, right? And so I feel that when it comes to being a woman, or being non-binary, like people try to box. Like it's like the world tries to label and box. And if you don't fit nicely into those labels and box, then you end up having a story. You end up having a journey. You end up having a trajectory. And I like to explore that as concepts. Like women, we cannot be boxed. People in general cannot be boxed, but I like to focus on like women because we get boxed so much. And the chaos that ensues when you are like, no, you're trying to put me in this box and I don't fit that. I actually fit multiple boxes, or I don't fit boxes at all. I just ooze out and I just am. And I think there's so much entertainment in that. I think there's so much truth in that. I think there's so much that can be learned from that.
Mhm.
And I think there's so much like when it comes to like even policy and things that can change if you create stories like that that could be
Facts.
changed from that. So yeah.
Period. I love that. Now, you have done a lot of projects with the one and only Kiki Palmer for a
Hmm.
key TV network, Ho and Tail, Cousin M. How did these opportunities come about, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, these opportunities come about from working horizontally. I say that 100%. I would not have done these projects if it wasn't for Nakia Stevens. Nakia is like a long time collaborator. That's my girl. She, her name is Screenwrite Her. So the direct her, like it's different. Like she's a Screenwrite Her.
Okay.
And she's been writing for like so
Mhm.
long, and that's her thing. Like that's her lane, and she loves being in that lane. She loves collaborating with female directors
Right.
on like bringing her visions to life. And we met, she has a company called Damn Right Originals
Mhm.
where she's been writing, it's a screenwriting label.
Mhm.
So she's been like writing, and then she like find people to produce her things, or like work with her collaborators to
Right.
produce her things. And so we met in like 2019 for a project called Southern Fried Rice. But at the time it had got like shelved, so we
Mhm.
weren't able to finish it. But we had such a great time working with each other that we've been like tapping each other on things ever since then. And so she got connected with Kiki,
Mhm.
and Kiki loves her. And so what happened is like I think they got a deal where they would
Right.
do like three, I think it's four different projects with Kiki. And so I'm directed two of them. So I
Mhm.
directed Ho and Tell, and then I'm directing one this coming May
Mhm.
called, which is the reboot of what we. So it's like basically us finishing how we met Southern
Right.
Fried Rice.
I love
And
that.
so, and the good thing is like you do good work, you get tapped more. So
Facts.
even though I've done those two, I can, at least I feel I've done great work. And so then I got a chance to like do Cousin M because it was
Right.
like they needed a director. They know I'm able to provide.
Mhm.
So Nakia wasn't a part of that project, but they knew Kiki, Lenora, Miss Sharon,
Mhm.
they knew that I was going to be able to accomplish the task. So I was able to fly to LA and do the Cousin M project. And I
Period.
look forward to continue working with them. It's been fun.
Okay, eating. Look, and I think a lot of it is like, they say opportunity is preparation and like a little bit of luck, but you gotta walk through those doors. It's like,
Hmm.
if this is something I'm serious about, this is something I really want to do. When the opportunity presents itself, it's like, no, I'm here.
Yeah.
And
And staying like being 10 toes down in that.
Mhm.
Story. So when I met Nakia, like I said, she was already writing, working. She was doing her thing. I knew her from social
Mhm.
media. Like
Mhm.
I could see what she was doing. And
Right.
I was living in DC. I think at the time she was in Atlanta. And so I had just completed film school and had just completed a film called Riverman, which did really well.
Mhm.
It had won a student Emmy. It had 40 film festivals, won 20 awards. Like
Period.
it did well. But film school life and doing your own projects that you write is
Mhm.
completely different from directing projects someone else
Mhm.
has written. And there's a different approach. There's a different way. It even goes down to like directing television versus directing film. There's two
Mhm.
different types of there's some similarities, but it's two different types of
Mhm.
approaches to that. And so at the time, after I did Riverman, I had never directed someone else's work. I've only directed my own work.
Mhm.
And so I remember getting a phone call from my homeboy, who's an amazing DP. His name is Alvin. And he was like, hey, these girls, they're about to do this do this series. I want to pitch you to direct it. And I was like, I did not feel ready because I never did anything
Mm.
like that. And now you're telling me you want to do like a full
Right.
35 pages,
Right.
4 episodes series. I remember like my breath, like I just got out of film
Hold
school.
on.
I just got out of film
Are you
school.
sure? Me?
Yeah.
Right.
And so he was like, yeah, I feel like, you should
You
do
can
it. So
do
he,
it.
he told them about me, and then they needed a reel. And at the time I didn't have a reel. And I was like, man, okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't even know how to make a reel. And he went off on me so bad. He was like, if you don't put a damn reel for you got
Figure it
the quarter
out.
century life checklist and ribbon, cut something together and give them the reel. And it was just like, it was a lesson on stay ready so you don't have to get ready, but also like step into your power. Even if you don't feel ready, stuff God is going to equip you.
Yep. Girl,
Honey, you want to start preaching?
I was about to shout. You was about to have me
God is
almost
going to
left.
equip you. So like you may not feel ready, but this opportunity, this blessing is coming to you for a reason. So step into that power. And I did. And I learned so much. Even, you know, though the project ended up getting shelved, I learned so much about me. I learned so much about my collaboration style, learned so much about my creative style that it literally set the foundation and I was able to grow. Like if that didn't happen, I would not be where I am today. I would not be probably living in Atlanta right now because I was living in DC at the time. So yes.
And I think exponential growth is so interesting because it's like anytime you're attempting to do something for the first time, you know, imposter syndrome can seep in and you start to think like, no, or I can, or I won't, or I shouldn't. But it's like, just because you've never done something doesn't mean you can't, that you won't excel in it, that this isn't your moment.
Also being like, be open to fail. Failing is not a bad thing.
Talk about it.
I think we are so scared of failure that it just numbs us and freezes us when you have to fail in order to succeed. Nothing is going, like, you're not going to succeed every single time.
Right.
Change happens through the hard parts.
Talk about it.
And so you cannot be afraid to fail. You might as well get the failing out right now.
Right.
Before it's too, like, you can't at all. You know what I'm saying? So.
I love that. Because there's lessons in the failure, honey. There's growth there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to talk a little about collaboration because, you know, that's been a theme that's been trending. How do you choose people you want to work with? Is there like the vibe, or like, am I looking at your resume, or like, is this just an opportunity that happened to present itself? Do you have like a particular way you'd like to collaborate?
That's a good question. Because like, and that's a layered question because I think how I would have answered it earlier in my career is different from now. Like now I feel like I got my horizontal folk, right? And so it's like I would be looking for collaborators if I'm not able to touch one of them. And then now I have a spot open, and now I am. So I'm going to talk from that perspective.
Okay.
And it goes beyond like resume. It definitely is a vibe. Like I feel like I'm an empath. I feel like if we connect, there's an instant feeling there. And then it's like, I want you around and I want to see you win. And I know that you are going to do your best for this to win. So then let's go from there. I was at I can tell you about a recent time. I was at a conference or a summit called Women in Focus.
Okay.
And it was like me and like three other girls that were sitting on a panel together. And I knew one of the girls already, Kaya, she's amazing. She just had her big feature film debut at Atlanta Film Festival. But there was another girl who was a cinematographer. And I love women cinematographers. But I had been already like had an establishment with like my friend Alvin and another cinematographer. And when I tell you, we wasn't even talking about cinematography, but me and this girl just like hit it off. Just loved her. Shout out to Val. And so from just us just kicking it and being on this panel together, I was like, I want to work with her.
I want to work with you.
I want to work with her. And so I remember I had a brand campaign I was directing coming up, and I was like, oh, there's a position. So well, maybe we can have Val do it. And so and then from there we had a great time on set. So like I'm looking forward to future opportunities to work with this person because we just had a connection outside of film stuff that was just like, man, you do this, I do this, but me and you just connect on on just a human basis. Let's see what that takes us. And I think that is where a great collaboration comes in, because when I sit here and I think about all of the people I collaborate with, that is how it pretty much started. Foundationally, it's like we connected and we just had a great connection. And it had nothing to do with how, when you're working together, it has nothing to do, and you're growing together, it has nothing to do with your experience level. Now, I do think now there has to be some type of experience level there, but especially like back in 2013, 2014, I didn't have no experience level, so I can't sit here and dock you for your experience level. But are you as passionate as me? I can sniff out people who are not as passionate so easily, and that's something I could tell you about Nakia too. Like, because we've been on these calls where we're trying to hire. The moment we feel like you're not as passionate as us, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Right.
So,
because something is like, you can't fake chemistry. It's like something either we have it or we don't.
You
We
cannot make.
vibing or we not vibing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love what you said about like, yes, you should have a foundation, but if it's not a good fit, it's just not a good
It's
fit.
not a good fit,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
okay. You
yeah.
know
It
what I'm saying?
is.
Because you're gonna find other people who are. You know what I'm
Facts,
saying? So.
facts, facts. I love that. Let's talk about some resiliency.
Mm.
When you have faced challenges, I know you talk about like, music has helped get you through it. We talked a little bit about like the Wiz, some of the music, but what are some other things that help you bounce back when you're facing a challenge in your career specifically?
So I meditate and pray every day.
Mm.
I have a dedicated space in my prayer
I
closet.
love your meditation posts.
Oh,
I really
honey,
be reading
every
them.
morning,
Yeah.
every morning.
Yes.
I carve out that time for
Mhm.
me, and that's where also I release, where I just give it to God. Like if there's some stresses, if there's just some hard times, I have to release to just let it go and be like, today is a new day. It is what it is. There's gratitude in it. It is what it is. And
Facts.
so like and like I said, it just opens up the world beautifully when you just acceptance and go, you
Mhm.
know what,
Mhm.
I'm taking this face value. It is what it is. And how can I just continue to move forward? And I feel like carving that time for myself in the morning has truly helped me maintain my stress levels because I got
Mm.
sickle cell. So you're not
We
gonna
can't be stressed.
you're not gonna get me there at
Right.
all. But carving those times, and sometimes it's outside of just the morning. Like I do that on set too. Like
Mhm.
I'll be on set. Um, it's a fun thing because like on set when I can feel like everybody's tense because like time is happening.
Right.
I'll say, everybody take a deep breath in and out. Shake it out. And I will literally watch, I'll be talking to my actors, but
Right.
I'll literally watch the gaffer, the grip. Everybody be
Everybody,
like,
because we need it.
you know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
So that happens. Then sometimes if I gotta go off in a little corner and just do a quick
Mhm.
little 5-minute meditation session, my people know, okay, Shayla, she over there, she getting
Right,
her,
right. Gotta
she getting
get
her
those chakras
chakras aligned.
aligned. Facts.
I'm good. I take it to God. I take everything into God and I release because God holds my burdens.
Mm.
And I know God will never put more on me than I can bear.
Amen.
That's a song.
Okay.
And that's how I just maintain myself and my peace in these, because this is film, television, entertainment,
Right.
creativity. It's a
Right.
stressful
Right.
environment,
Right.
period,
Right.
especially when you are adding the monetary value
Yep.
to it. So
Yep, yep, yep. And I think something that is beautiful because you share so much of that on your platform, like
mhm.
your meditation, like things that this much me day I meditate on this day. I read the one you posted like a couple hours ago, and something that it helped influence within me was submitting this year.
Mhm.
I said that I really need to work on God. I
Mhm.
can't do it alone. There are
Mhm.
some things that I just can't fix, can't worry about. I have
Ooh.
to submit. And there has been such a release in that.
Ooh.
And you kind of helped me with that just by posting
Oh,
things along your journey.
thank
Like you never really
you.
know who you're impacting. And so I
Oh,
appreciate that.
thank
Factual.
you.
That's real
Thank
talk.
you.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about like the filmmaking process, that artistry, but you also have done some commercial work.
Mhm.
You've done worked with brands like Procter and Gamble and Facebook Meta. How does commercial directing compare to narrative filmmaking?
Yeah, so I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Okay.
I am a creative director for an agency called
Mhm.
Chosen Few, and with them, with creative directing and then directing is like two different things in itself. Um, there's some parallels and similarities, but they're different. Creative directing, you are dealing with brand and like basically brand management, and like you're thinking about how to create a cohesiveness to the vision.
Mhm.
And so that has been, I just started that job in January of this year, but leading up to it is how like utilizing the commercial work I have done in order to like, excel in this
Right.
job. And it is a lot different because now you're dealing with clients.
Mhm.
So it's different from like film where it's like most likely I directed it or someone else
Mhm.
directed it and they're giving you the leeway to like add vision to, or me by myself, I'm just adding vision to what I've written. Now you're talking about brands and what they've crafted as a brand, their brand messaging, their brand colors,
Right.
and how you can create vision that makes it's marketing in a
Right,
sense.
right, right,
Like
right.
how can you create vision or visionary elements to those things to like really just enhance and like and grow their audience.
Right.
And so I think it takes a different type of brain because now you have to do well, even, I mean, you do research in those things as well, but you do even more research, but you need to know your client.
Right.
And your client is the one who tells you whether you did a good job
Right,
or
right,
not.
right, right, right.
Whereas, you know, with film directing, it's subjective. It's like I put
Mhm.
it out, and if you like it, you like
You
it.
like
You
it and
don't.
you don't. It's
You don't.
almost like, you know, if you are a songwriter and you're writing for a particular artist, it's like you have to write in their voice and
And
like what
their
makes sense for their brand.
it's their voice, and
Yes.
but you're just adding a vision to it, and finding pockets of ways of like how I'm implementing myself into this.
Mm.
I think that there's some intricacies there that is you have to explore. And so, like for instance, I had did a brand campaign for American Cancer Society. They are trying to get 100, I think 100,000 Black women to sign up because what they
Mhm.
want to do is understand better the disparities that happen with Black women. Like, why are Black women getting more cancer? Like, what's happening there? And though we
Mhm.
know,
Right.
we can literally say, but how can we create data driven evidence of that? But Black women are not wanting to sign up for that because, of course, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
There's a lot of
Mistrust.
mistrust with when it comes to
Mhm.
those things. So when I'm being approached, I'm like, hey, we want some type of brand campaigns that will reach Black women. I, as a Black woman, have to
Mhm.
like, I'm adding my voice as a Black woman. I'm adding my voice as a Black woman who also had mistrust with medical
Right,
fields because
right.
I have sickle cell and I've
Mhm.
experienced that. But then also I need to make sure that I'm staying within the brand that's created with American Cancer Society while also trying to expand it
Right, right, right,
further,
right. It's
right?
like a
So
marriage. Yeah.
there's a and with a marriage, there's a lot of work
Yep,
that has to
yep.
go. There's a lot of
Mhm.
communication. There's a lot of moving pieces, and so it's been fun because I will say I always tell the CEO of Chelsea, I feel like I'm sharpening a tool shed
Mhm.
while I'm in between projects, right? It's like, okay, I'm building decks, I'm creating vision boards, I'm studying brands and looking at the things that they've produced beforehand and figuring out ways how can I make enhance it and make it better. And that all I'm just sharpening these skills until the next project and the next
Facts.
project. Um, because when you're directing like film and television, projects are not as frequent.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I may get like maybe 2 or 3
Mhm.
projects a year. Honey still gotta eat. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yes.
So yeah, I hope I answered your question
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah,
bit.
yeah. No, that was a I
Yeah.
love the breakdown between the differences and like creatively like how you put yourself in the work. No,
Hmm.
that's dope. Okay. So let's talk about upcoming projects. Can you share any details on upcoming projects like Jitterbug and what audiences can expect?
So I and the reason why I think this is so interesting is because of the word upcoming. So Jitterbug, well, let me tell you what it's about, and then I'm gonna tell you the story
Okay.
because it also goes into your moment about resiliency. So Jitterbug is a story about Lindy Hop, and it's about a Black American girl who parents make her go on vacation to Sweden, where she stumbles upon a dance camp and realizes that they all learning Lindy Hop,
Mhm.
and she realizes how Lindy Hop is actually birthed from it's Black American
Mhm.
culture,
Mhm.
and so she sets on a journey. But it's coming of age of her learning the dance within itself, but then also learning about her and the history and things of that sort. And it's a really great story because people don't know that Lindy Hop was a huge part of the Harlem Renaissance.
Mhm.
And then us Black people, we make it popping and then we don't never do it no more. But Europe, they like it's ingrained into like their curriculum. They teach the high school and elementary school
Mhm.
students how to like Lindy Hop, and like they have huge dance camps for Lindy Hop, and they revere Black Americans for
Wow.
creating it. So you go there and there's like museums like just
Wow. Dedicated
celebrating
to
Black
this.
Americans and
Right.
of what they did, and we over here we don't even know that. We
Hello.
don't even know that. And so
Facts.
I thought it was such a beautiful script. It was written by Phil Berry.
Mhm.
Thought it was such a beautiful script about that journey, and her like coming back to America and
Mhm.
maybe getting Gen Z interested in those things
Right.
again. Um, and what I love about Phil Berry is that he's a white man, so he
Mhm.
knew he's like touching green. And so he allowed me to like do rewrites and things of that sort to
Right.
just make sure that culturally things fit. And so we were slated to shoot last
Mhm.
summer, but we went to Sweden. We were in Sweden, and they were not able to fully get the financing of it. It was like, I believe it was a $3 million picture that
Mm-hmm.
ballooned to like a $5 million picture, that not on the account of me. Want to make sure that's clear.
Clear.
Um, and yeah, it was it 5 days before we were supposed to have cameras up, we had to pull the plug.
Mm.
And so we were supposed to fly back, like right after they told
Mhm.
us we were supposed to fly back. And me and the DP, we were like, no, I'm leaving him something.
Right.
And so what we did was we rallied up everybody in Sweden to like, let's just shoot something. Let's shoot
Mhm.
a teaser. And the first day we were like, let's we only had iPhones,
Right.
so let's go back to
Okay.
so, and we did we the one of the like Lindy Hop legends
Mhm.
who's still living to this day, Chester Whitmore. He just so happened to be in Sweden at a dance camp at the time. He's a black man who danced with like the creators of the dance. He just so happened to be in Sweden, and he heard me give like this speech about Black Americans and being audacious
Mhm.
and finding joy, and how Lindy Hop was an expression of that joy. And he was like, I want to do this. And so we got a chance to interview him documentary style. And then like the kids, because we were dealing with 13 to 17
Mhm.
year olds, the kids, their parents were like cool too. So they got a chance to actually be trained by him. So that day we just got interviews of him, and then we got him teaching these kids how to dance,
Right.
which is just,
No, incredible.
oh my goodness, right? So that was like that first day. Second day, I think Sweden is like the size of like California. People heard about it and donated resources. So we got RE cameras and lenses and
Oh
lights,
my
and we shot
gosh.
I'll send you links. We shot a beautiful teaser that we were able to give back to like the producers for them to try to go get more funding for it. So
Right.
the hope is that we get greenlit again.
Right.
It most likely won't be this year, because
Mhm.
if you know anything about Sweden, um they have like 24/7 sun and 24/7 night.
Right.
And come like September, October, it's not it's not, it get real cold
Yeah.
and real dark. So maybe not this year, but we're hoping that sometime even next year or the year after next, that they're able to get that project back up and running. Because I can't talk about like the attachments, but we had some amazing attachments, A-list attachments to that project, that I'm happy this happened because of the relationship I was able
Right.
to build with this particular person. And there was a moment where, you know, she poured into me, and because of all that happened,
Mhm.
and was
Mhm.
telling me that this is something not new, and just, you know, be ready. And
Mhm.
she in her ending words was like, Shayla, welcome to Black Hollywood. And it
Period.
meant so much to me. So that project, even though it didn't happen the way it did, and I'm still healing from it, because to be in it and
Right.
about to do it,
Right.
it hurt. But I'm so happy what all came from it, because it's just been opening doors in other ways,
Right.
so much so. So
It's kind of, like when they say everything happens for a reason, like it's like one door is closing, maybe to open another door in another
hmm
way. And I
and it
think,
has been.
hello, and I think what's like really beautiful about that experience is like, one, it's a testament to like how much we don't even know about our own history, and how much they
hmm
would love to like make Black people think like we don't have influence
hmm
that is far
Because let me
reaching
tell you, white
globally.
people, if you watch like especially commercials, they're Lindy hopping and
Yeah.
swing dancing. Remember now, at some point, swing dance was a white piece of thing.
Right.
Meanwhile, no, like that's something crafted from us. And there
Mhm.
was, let me go back. Like I was so interested in telling this story, because I remember when I got the job, like I had interviewed and did pitch decks and got the job, and called my grandmother and my mom. And I was like, "Hey, I got the job." And she was like, "Well," they like, because you know they just proud regardless. They don't really care what you're doing. And so, they, well, what is it about? And I was like, "It's about swing dance, Lindy Hop." And I remember like my grandma, and my mother stopping, and I'm like, "Did you know your great grandmother used to Lindy Hop?" And
Wow.
like the connection I felt
Right.
at the time, knowing that like because I didn't know nothing about it. You know,
Right.
I was
Right.
about to embark on the research of it, but knowing that I had a family member who loved to do it, and loved to do it for her grandchildren,
Right.
because I'm her great grandchild. I thought, and I never got a chance to meet her. She
Mhm.
passed before I was born, but I thought that was a beautiful
Mhm.
thing.
It's like you are directly connected to this more than you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why, I pray, it does eventually come back. And I feel very confident that it will, because projects don't ever die.
Facts.
Yeah. But I have other, that was one, but I
Okay.
have other upcoming projects. One is another one under the Keke Palmer
Mhm,
banner with,
mhm.
but it's Nakia Stevens and Dan Wright Originals. It belongs to her. And that's the Southern Fried Rice
Right,
project.
right.
We are shooting that in May. And we're going to need a lot of background for like party scenes and, cookout scenes and things of that sort. So I'll, keep you abreast of,
Please do.
yeah. And that one is a great story about, which is funny, especially in retrospect to Sinners coming out, right? Southern Fried Rice is a story about a Korean American girl who was adopted by Black Southern parents at birth,
Mhm,
right? So she grows up
mhm.
culturally Black or surrounded by Blackness. And then she decides to follow in her adoptive parents' footsteps and attend an HBCU, which of course will cause an
Yes.
identity
Mhm.
crisis. And Nakia crafted that story so beautifully. And it's so layered and just talks about like culture appreciation and culture fluidity. And even the journey of us getting there, trying to find an actress who can like really do this and not make a Blackness into a caricature
Right.
like that. Those are the care that we've had to pour
Mhm.
into this project. I am so excited. We shoot in about 4 weeks from now. Well, I don't know. It depends on whenever you like put this out.
Right.
But we shoot at the end of May, and I think this is going to be probably one of the biggest projects out of the three that I've done for Kiki, and I'm excited about it. And then my own stuff, that's what I'm doing for other people. My own stuff. I have a feature film called The Off Brands
Mhm.
that is my baby. It's my baby. The Off Brands is a story about two quirky teens, one with
Mhm.
sickle cell and one with lupus, who tries to disrupt the social hierarchy of their small town southern high school because they want to be known for anything other than being sick.
Mm.
And it's just it's a comedy and it's full of adventure. That those are like the subtle parts of it all, but like just the funness of being in the South and then just trying to figure out who you are and who you are in your place in the
Right,
world.
right.
And so I wrote that feature script eons ago. I got a lot of like buzz from
Mhm,
it, and a lot of studios and people wanted the script, but they didn't
mhm.
necessarily want me as a
Mm.
director of it. But that's my baby,
Okay.
so I did that and did that whole like showboating of it all, and then I was like, well, if everyone loves the script, right?
Right.
But no one wants me, then it's not. It ain't the script. It ain't the story. It's me. So let me start proving to people what I'm capable of. So
Mhm,
what I did was last year, I took 15 pages of that script and shot a proof of
mhm.
concept. And instead of going to film festivals, like trying to go to Sundance or South by Southwest, I was like, let me show y'all just how much of an audience I have.
Period.
And I ended up finishing that film and I took it on a 4-city tour and we sold out the city.
Period.
And then what I love about Atlanta, shout out to Atlanta. Not only did we sell out in Atlanta, but people show up in 2000 square because the movie takes place in 2004.
Right.
Yeah, so people show up in 2000s
I
like
love
as a big
that.
party, and I was able to like take the metrics of that and like
Uh-huh.
say, we sold out, these
Mhm.
cities. We were able because there was the tickets were donation based, so
Right,
you
right.
can just buy
Mhm.
buy a ticket and just donate whatever you want. We raised an additional $10,000 and then an additional $30,000, and then
Wow.
like having those metrics behind it,
Mhm.
and then also doing the proof of concept showing like I have vision for this that has put us in development, and there's been a lot of movement with that I can't talk about, but just
Congratulations.
know that that is a project that is happening and coming down the pipeline.
That is iconic. That is
Thank
amazing. I'm so
you.
happy for you. I can't wait to see it.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh. Okay, guys, y'all know Shayla Racquel. She's very booked. Okay, very busy. Okay, she has things to do after this. Okay. For the people that want to reach out to you, connect, ask you questions, maybe figure out how they could be a part of the industry, advise, view your work. Where can
Yeah.
the people reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah. So you can find me on all platforms at Shayla Racquel. That's SHaylaracc. Quel. Shayla Racquel without a C is ran by a white girl, and so you're gonna go look for her, and she will not be me. So, which she's a great person. She gets all my emails. So, so Shayla Racquel, you Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those things. You'll be able to find me on those things, and also my website. If you go to my website, that's where you can pretty much find any and all of my work, but also my mailing list. So I get a lot of like questions like, how can I get into it? How can I act? How can I get an audition? I am not going to specifically remember to say, here's the audition for you. I'm just, my brain's not gonna work like that. So if you sign up for those mailing lists, I send it out, and then you know about all the auditions.
Okay.
What we have going on, all those things. So yeah, website and all the socials.
Okay. Y'all make sure y'all follow her. You make sure you sign up for that mailing list. As always, you can find me at Uncle Twirl. That's Twirl with an E on all social media platforms. Shayla Racquel, thank you so much for being here. I mean, you have really illuminated and dropped so many wonderful gems, stories about resilience and culture and family and identity and the importance of rooting for yourself, believing in yourself, betting on yourself.
Amen.
I mean, it will always come back to you tenfold.
Absolutely.
And always remember, feel free to spill the tea, but don't be messy. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this so that you don't miss new episodes of Tea Time. For other amazing guests, Shayla Racquel, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.